Welcome everybody to our Green Acres. We're going to start off the video today with a sweater. Now you can take a sweater maybe that you have that may be worn out. This one I got at a yard sale and I paid 50 cents to $1 for it. You want to cut the sleeve off, and of course with a sweater or a shirt you're going to have 2 sleeves, so we can make a couple to 3 pumpkins, just depending on what size you cut yours. The first thing you want to do is you want to turn it inside out. You want to gather one of the ends, and then you're going to wrap a rubber band around it where you secure it really good. Now once you have that end secured, then you just want to turn it back to the outside, and then I'm going to put a little bit of weight in mine because sometimes when you put filler making your pumpkins, they'll be a little bit lightweight and they'll go a little wonky. So just to give it a little filler and a little weight in the bottom, I just added some buttons. Now I'm just going to fill it up with some filler, and you want to, just get it, you don't want to overstuff it, but get it to where, your pumpkin is pretty plump. Now again, with another rubber band, I'm going to go around, I'm going to secure the top just like I did the bottom, and once you get that done, then we're going to work on a stem. And making the stem is so easy. I've always seen these top stems on those store-bought pumpkins and I always wondered how they did it. Well, it is so easy. Just add a little hot glue and start wrapping twine around that fabric at the top of your pumpkin. Keep wrapping it around until you get it as long of a stem as you desire. Once you get it as long as you want, then just glue it off and then trim off your twine, and it's that easy. And once you get your twine glued down, now we're just going to go in and trim down that excess fabric. You want to trim it down with some really sharp scissors. Just be careful, don't cut yourself. And just keep trimming down till it gets to the level of the twine. And once you do that you've got your stem, and that's all there is to it. I absolutely love this top stem. I went around the bottom of the twine of the stem of the pumpkin and just kind of secured it down a little bit better with some hot glue. And now I'm going to embellish my pumpkin. Now you can embellish your pumpkin any way you want to, but I thought some little pink lace rosettes would be beautiful. So I'm going to make 3. I've showed how to do this in lots of my videos, but you just want to get some lace or some fabric, and you just want to coil it around, going around in a circle, and you just kind of want to twist it as you go. Add some hot glue, as you need it, and that's all you have to do. Now here I'm going to show you how I get started, but it's just a wrapping technique. There's really no rhyme or reason to this, but I use a low temp glue gun so I don't burn my fingers. But if you use a glue gun that is, a hot temp, you will want to use some finger protectors because we don't want anybody to get their fingers burnt. But that is how easy it is. Like I say, just keep going around, twisting and get it as large or as small as you want your rosettes. I made 3 small ones. Now I'm going to attach these to my little pumpkin and using a little bit of hot glue. And then once I get that on there, I'm going to add a little twine bow just to kind of enhance that little twine stem. And then I'm going to show y'all some beautiful, Totally Dazzled new product that I just received, and it's absolutely beautiful. Totally Dazzled just keeps amazing me with coming out with new products that are just so my style. I have been an affiliate partner with Totally Dazzled for years, and I absolutely love their products, but they've come out with some beautiful cameos. Now these come in all the jewel tones. You can get the silver, you can get gold. I got the antique bronze. But go out, I'm going to leave an affiliate link down below. I do receive a small commission when you use my affiliate link to support my channel, so I'll have it linked down in the description box and also in a pinned comment. But these are absolutely beautiful, y'all, and these make great embellishments that you can use all year long on all kinds of projects. But I thought they would be absolutely beautiful on these little sweater pumpkins that I just made. So I'm going to give y'all some ideas of the different ones that I got, and they come in different sizes and different colors. You can see they've got some that are, are black and white, some that have some pearl embellishment on them. But these right here are some of my absolute favorite product that I've received from Totally Dazzled so far. But they just keep coming out with new products, so make sure to go out, check their website, and see all the beautiful products that they have.
Open air, nice way there in all the colors. Summer
Okay, y'all, now we have another sleeve of that sweater, and actually with a couple of sleeves, you can make several pumpkins. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of that sleeve. I'm going to cut off another piece, and I'm going to show y'all how to make another sweater pumpkin with a whole different stem. Now this one, you're going to want to do the same thing. Take your sweater, and you're going to want to turn it inside out, and we're going to do the same thing we did on the first one. You want to gather one end of it, wrap it and secure it really good with a piece of rubber band, and then just turn it back to the right side. Now once we get this one done, I'm not gonna put any buttons in this one. I'm just gonna fill it up with some filler. Stuff your pumpkin until you get it to the desired size that you want. And I just kind of put some in there, and you just kind of want to gauge it of how plump you want your pumpkin. But you want to make sure, we're going to go around this one, and we're going to use a very large needle. And I think I got this at Walmart in the craft section. But I'm using some cotton yarn that I got at Dollar Tree. But you just want to use some really secure type yarn or some kind of twine, whatever you can thread through your big needle. You want to tie a big knot at the end of it, and you just want to start going and weaving in and out around the top section of your pumpkin and gather it together. Once you get it gathered together and get it pulled really tight, then you're just gonna go through, kind of loop it a few times, get it in a good knot, and trim off your excess yarn. Now this right here makes a beautiful pumpkin, and now I'm just going to kind of scrunch in that sweater top, just kind of work it into the middle. And I made a couple, and this is what they ended up looking like. You're not going to end up seeing the top of it because we will secure it with a stem, but that's what you should, end up with. Now I'm going to give this one some pumpkin ribs. I'm going to still take that large needle, and I'm still using that cotton yarn that I got at, and this may be like cotton twine that I got at Dollar Tree. But you just want to work your needle from the bottom up through the top of your pumpkin, and then you want to wrap around your pumpkin from side to side and give it ribs. Now each time I go side to side, I'm going to go back through with my needle, and I'm going to work through the bottom and then back up through the top, give it a couple more ribs, and then you just want to keep working your needle back through the bottom up to the top, and just keep making your ribs. Now you can make as many ribs on your pumpkin as you want. Sometimes people will wrap it 4 times, sometimes people will wrap it 6. I think I ended up having 8 ribs on mine, but this is just a personal preference of how many that you want. And once you get as many little ribs that you want on your pumpkin, then you want to just keep running your needle back through the top to the bottom and secure that thread really well. Now once I got back to the top, I just went through again, and I just kind of looped my yarn around 3 times, and you want to secure it really well so it doesn't come apart. And using a sweater too, it will kind of ravel. So I just went around with my needle, made sure that all of my little sweater ravels were secured really well, and then I went through the bottom. I did the same thing. I knotted it, and then I just cut off my yarn. Now I'm going to show y'all a really easy way that I made a stem, and I just made it out of parts of the scrap sweater. And I'm just going to secure that to the top of it with some hot glue. And this little stem is so easy to make. To make it, you just want to take a piece of the scrap sweater, and all we're going to do is you're just going to twist it around. Now, there is no rhyme or reason to this. Just get whatever scrap you have from whatever you made your pumpkin out of, and just coil it around and kind of form it and shape it into a pumpkin stem, and then glue it on to the top of your pumpkin. Now you're really ready to embellish your pumpkin with those beautiful Totally Dazzle cameos, and we've got some beautiful, really shabby chic pumpkins. Now to apply my little cameos, these right here do not have pins on the back of them, so I'm just going to run a little piece of lace through mine and just kind of tie it onto my pumpkins, and this made a great embellishment.
On on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love. Remember when we were getting nowhere fast, when the garden won't stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen, all the colors. Summer love. Memories washed in every shade of green.
Now I'm going to show y'all another fun and easy project, and it's all going to be centered around this new JRV decoupage paper that has lots of different sheets on it. I did some projects with it in my last video, and I'm going to use it again today. I'm going to make some little drawer knobs, and I think the smaller little sheep on this paper will be great to go on little drawer pulls. So get whatever you have. If you have some old hardware laying around, and a lot of times you can find bags of these at the thrift store, very inexpensive. And I just spray painted mine white, and then I'm going to cut out some of these cute little sheep. And y'all, this paper right here, this whole sheet, and you get different sizes and a variety of the sheep, and some of these look like little goats, but you get a variety, and you can see how many is on that sheet. There is quite a few, and this sheet right here is only $3.95. And my friend Jackie, Ruth and Ruby, she sells this. So I'll make sure to link her information down below. But I just cut out different graphics of these, the ones that I thought would fit best on my little drawer pulls, and I just applied them using my DIY Liquid Patina and let them dry. And now you've got some great little pieces that you can add to your vignettes. These make great little bow fillers, and of course you can use these to put on as drawer pulls, and you got a really cute little unique flair to your drawer pulls that I bet nobody else will have.
Bathing in the turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove. That's sure something I could use.
Now the next project, I'm going to upcycle a sign that I got at Goodwill. And I love this saying, all you need is love. I paid $2.99 for it, but I'm going to do something for fall, and I'm going to use this beautiful decoupage paper. You get a whole sheet of some really beautiful watercolor pumpkins, and I'll leave a link to this decoupage paper down below. But I just go over the wording on my sign with some chalk paint, and I just went over it until I got it covered so it would not show through on my decoupage paper. Then I want to capture this pumpkin right here, but I've got some pumpkins surrounding it that I don't want to cut into because I want to be able to use those too. So strategically, I'm taking my pencil and I'm kind of placing my pumpkin down in my frame just to get a good placement for it. And then I don't want to interrupt this little pumpkin right here, so I'm going to have to cut out a corner of my paper, and so I'm going to have I'm going to have to do a little repair job down there. So to save that other pumpkin, I had to cut out a little bit of the corner of this one, but we can make a repair to it with no problem, and you won't even be able to tell. Decoupage paper is really user-friendly, and that's what I love about it. It's so easy to use, and it's a lot of fun. And this sheet right here was very affordable. I think it was only like $6.95. But I just cut a little square, And once we put our decoupage medium on it and we get it all together, you'll never be able to tell that little corner. I had to do that little cutout. But I just use DIY Liquid Patina, but you can use whatever decoupage medium is your favorite. And I just always like to work in sections, and using one of these big sponge brushes is probably one of my favorite tools to use when I decoupage. But once I got it adhered really well, and you want to be really generous with your decoupage medium. And then I went over it with a brayer just to smooth out as many wrinkles as I could, and then I just go around the edges just to make sure the edges are sealed really well with my sponge. And then once I got all that done, I got a baby wipe and I went around and just cleaned up my frame. I just went around all the little edges with my baby wipe very gently, and I wiped it down just to remove any excess decoupage medium. Now I'm just letting y'all see that just how insignificant that little corner is now. But that is just how user-friendly decoupage paper is. And like I say, if you have never used it, I highly encourage you to try it, because it is such a fun product to work with, and you can create some really beautiful projects with it.
Could use some too.
This project is one of my favorites because it is going to marry with another item that I got at Goodwill. And this is just one of those random things that just kind of comes together that you hadn't even planned. But you can see in the bottom right hand corner, it's got 1 Corinthians 13, 7 through 8. I paid $4 for this, but the scripture is love. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Y'all, I could not cover up those verses, so I'm going to capture those on this little rustic palette, and I'm going to make something that I never even planned on making, but it just kind of come together. But a lot of times Bible verses, why would I cover that up? Because that is a great reminder about love. Someone had cut it, they had put something on it, written on it about love, but they had also cut it, and they cut it really crooked. So that little piece of palette needed to come off, so I just took out a couple of screws and it come right off. I got Ben then to come out with his little power saw, and he cut those little pieces that were hanging off. He cut those off, and now it's nice and smooth. I went over it with my sander, and I just kind of sanded over those words because they were all cut off and you couldn't really read it. So I'm going to do something else with it, but I am going to capture that Bible verse. And this is when the magic started to happen. Sometimes you buy some items and they'll stay in your supplies for a while. This is a plastic. I'm sure this is like home interior, but anytime I see these like candelabras type pieces, I always pick them up because I love them. But I've had it for a while. I paid $2.99 for it. I just spray painted it white, and I thought, you know what? I love rustic and elegant together, so I'm going to spray paint it white, and I'm going to use it on my pallet wood. Now, I'm going to show you some items of how you can take other items and you can create something a little bit more elaborate than what I did. You can take a frame. An ornate frame would be great, and you can trim out your pallet wood and give it an extra detail. The frame I had is not going to fit, and it's also going to cover up my Bible verse, and I don't want that. But just giving you some ideas. If I would have turned it this way, it would have fit. If I turn it the long way, my candelabra piece is not going to fit. It's going to be too short. So I'm just trying to give you more ideas. So if you run across, some of these pieces at the thrift store, because you can pick up frames so inexpensive, and these little candelabra pieces are always very inexpensive. But as you can see, I prefer to turn the pallet wood the long ways, and to do that, the little candelabra was not going to fit inside that frame. So I'm just going to make my life easier, and I told Ben, I was like, I'm just going to go with it without the frame for now, and if I decide to change it up, I can always do that. All I've got to do is take out 2 screws. But he went outside and pre-drilled a couple little holes, and he screwed. We found a couple little tiny screws that would fit, and he put this on for me. And I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. I did sand over the verse a little bit just to make it look a little bit more rustic and worn. But now I've got a beautiful piece, and I can add some of my LED taper candles too. I took it inside and I just kind of went over those little screw heads with some white paint. Now we've got a beautiful rustic but elegant piece. And this piece right here, like I say, I married two items that I got at the thrift store that I'd never planned to put together. And also this Bible verse right here, I absolutely love it. Before I style it for you, I'm going to show you another idea. And these are some little ballet shoes that I got at the thrift store, and they were $1.99 a pair. Who can pass up little ballerina slippers? But I just hot glued a little bit of ribbon on each one, and I tied them on to my piece. So just another idea of when you're decorating something like this, just to give it another little cute little detail, and something I found at the thrift store for $1.99. I think it adds just the right touch. The LED taper candles that I have in here, they run on a remote control, and I think you get 6 to a set. I have these linked in my Amazon store, and these are some of my favorite candles. So if you haven't invested in any of these yet, I highly recommend these. They are very good quality, and I have enjoyed these so much. Now we're going to do another decoupage project, and I'm going to take a piece of scrap wood that I have, and y'all always go through the supplies that I have on hand before I go out and buy more stuff. And a lot of times scrap wood is something that I have, and I found this really weathered piece. Now it's a really thick piece of wood, so it'll make a great standalone shelf sitter. Now I'm going to mix up some milk paint, and I don't know if you've ever used it, but I absolutely love milk paint, but it's just 1 part water to 1 part powder. Now to me, if I add a little bit less water, I think my milk paint gets a little bit thicker, and I like the thicker texture. I feel like a lot of times with the thicker, I get more of a crackle finish. This is more of a watered down version, so I went over it and gave it 2 or 3 layers, and in between each layer you want to add either a heat gun or blow dryer, because heat is what is going to make your milk paint just start to crackle and give you that distressed look. Now I went and did, like I say, 2 or 3 layers on it, and I did the blow dryer between each layer. And once I got all the paint on the board and it was dry, I took it outside and I used my electric sander. I could have stayed inside and just used a piece of sandpaper, but I've got my electric sander out and it's already plugged up from some other projects, so why not? And I felt like this right here gave me the desired look that I wanted, because it really, gave it that really good distressed look, especially around the edges. Now I'm going to take this beautiful pumpkin that was on that decoupage paper sheet of the watercolor pumpkins. I love this neutral colored one, and I'm just going to apply it. Now, decor pieces like this are so easy to make and so inexpensive, and they're also very fun. This is a very stress-free type project, and that's the kind of projects that I love to do. But just lather it down really good with your decoupage medium. I even put some on the back of the paper, because the more of the decoupage medium you have, the better of a result you'll have. And just gently roll over it with a brayer, let it dry, and it makes a beautiful piece that we can set out for fall. Now I'm going to take another one of the pumpkins from the decoupage paper, and I'm going to make another shelf sitter. I have another piece of this scrap wood, and I used this on a previous project and put a transfer on it. I painted over most of the transfer, but I'm going to leave that writing that was on there. I mean, why not? It just adds a little bit more detail to it. So I left the writing, but I did paint over the transfer that was in the center. And I'm just going to apply this beautiful green pumpkin. That way you've got a different, color scheme. We'll have the neutral one, and we'll have the green one, and we can set these up, and pair them together, or just, put them somewhere throughout your home. These are some little tags that I have linked in my Amazon store. You get 4 boxes of these, y'all. If you don't have these yet, make sure to go out, check these out. These are great to add to your projects. They're very inexpensive, and you get a bunch, and you get all the designs are every tag is totally different. But I found one that I thought matched the color scheme of my pumpkin, added a little twine bow, and I'm just going to add a little tag. We're just going to add a little 3D dimension to this, and now this I thought made a beautiful shelf sitter too. Okay, do y'all remember those little pieces of wood that Ben cut off the verse sign, the little pallet sign that we did with the little chandelier? Well, I'm not going to waste those. I picked them up, of course. Ben always wants to put stuff like that in the trash, but I go right behind him and I pick it up, and I'm like, we can make something out of those. Sure enough, I had some milk paint left over, and you can't really save it, so I just painted them with the rest of my milk paint that I had left over from my other project. I let them, did a couple layers, let it dry, then I went over it with some sandpaper, and I just distressed both the little blocks really well. Now I'm going to show you that one sheet of sheep decoupage paper and just how many projects you can do with this. And like I say, I did some projects with this in last week's video, and I'm still using it and still have a bunch of these little designs left. And like I say, this piece of decoupage paper was like $3.95. So I'm just going to show you how you can apply some of these cute little sheep and little goats to just a little piece of scrap wood, and then you can set these up in your vignettes. You can drill holes in the top of them, put some little twine hangers on them. You can hang them from wreaths. If you have a fall tree, you can put those, on your tree, or even at Christmas time. I think these would make great little rustic, little French country Christmas ornaments. But I'm just going to apply my little sheep designs to each board using my decoupage medium, which is DIY Liquid Patina. You could also use Mod Podge. And I'm just going to apply each little design to the boards and then let them dry. And I'm just going to set them up. But like I say, you can always drill holes in these, add some little hangers, and embellish all kinds of little things for these. And these can be left out all year long. Here's our last project, y'all, and while I've got this sheet of decoupage paper, I had another idea. And y'all know I love to upcycle my projects. I can make something and then I can always flip it around because a lot of stuff has two sides. I made this little bunny back in the spring and summertime, and I thought, you know what? Let's make something on the other side of it. And it was a mirror, so I just painted over it a couple layers with white chalk paint, covered up the mirror, and I'm going to put it back in the frame just so I can get the desired area, because I want to use this really large little sheep that's on the sheet right here, and then I'm just going to cut it out. Now he's a little bit too long for my frame, but I'm going to make him work, and I'm going to fit him in there, and that's why I went on and put my mirror back in my frame before I applied him. I want to make sure I've got him sized in my frame, where he's proportioned really well. And then once I felt like he was in place, then I just decoupaged him down really good, rolled him over with the brayer, and then I put him back in the frame. Now this right here makes such a great little bow filler. Remember in last week's video, I showed y'all how to make a really cute little thrifted dough bowl, and I used buttons as bow filler. So I think now he makes a great little addition. Throw some little pumpkins in there with him, and you can also put those cute little drawer pulls that we just made. I think all of this really marries good together, and it just makes such a cute little detail to your fall vignettes. Okay, y'all, we're at the end of the video, and before I end it, I want to give y'all a little tutorial. I get a lot of comments of people asking how to get to the description box on my videos, and I think this is a common question. Sometimes it's hard to find, and especially on all the devices that we have these days. Now I'm showing you this from my computer, but always up under my videos there'll be a description box and you'll see the word more. You'll want to click on that and also see more. That opens up a really large window, and that way you can see all the links and all the important information that I put in that video on that day. Now also I always pin a comment also. So on all my videos, I will have a comment that will be pinned, and it will always be at the very top of all the comments. And again, you'll just want to click read more, and then all the links and all the important, information that I gave you throughout the video, it will be linked there. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any other questions, please leave me a comment down below. Make sure to like, share, and make sure you are subscribed to my channel, because I would love to have you come back and be a part of my family. I love y'all, and I will see y'all again in my next video. Bye, y'all.